Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be doing my first nonfiction book review. So if you guys watched my uh, channel changes video for 2020, I said I'll be reviewing some nonfiction writing books along with some fiction paranormal romance books. So I'm going to start with a nonfiction writing book first, just because that's the first one that I finished for the first quarter of the year. And the book I'm going to be reviewing today is The Successful Self-Publishing by Joanna Penn. That might be backwards. Sorry. So first, why did I choose paperback? Pretty much I chose the paperback version because it was nonfiction, and I think it was only like $6 or something like that. So I mean, it's not a very big book. Obviously, you guys can see it's not a huge book. It's like 100 pages long. So it was only like $6. And it just seems like when it comes to my nonfiction, I prefer to have paperback. Now, there are some nonfiction books that I'll be reviewing that I don't have in paperback, that I have in ebook format, and that's just because the price was a whole lot more expensive than this was. I think the ebook version was like $1.99 or something, and their paperback was like $6.99, and I was willing to pay an extra couple of bucks to have the paperback, and that is because I'm one that likes to highlight things in my books. So, and I like having it on my shelf for me to pull in and reference when I want it. So, anyway, that's why I decided to get the paperback of this one. Okay, so basically, this book is divided into two parts. Part one is how to self-publish, and part two is how to market a book. So, part one, how to self-publish. This is basically a step-by-step guide of how to publish your book on the different like on Amazon and on Barnes and Noble and on Kobo and like all of those things. So part one that's basically what it is. It's a step-by-step guide. I mean, in the very beginning, she kind of goes over some really basic self-publishing definitions and comparisons and things like that. So she compares an indie author versus a self-publishing author. And then she kind of goes over why people choose to self-publish instead of go with a traditional publishing house. And then she goes into the step-by-step guide of how to self-publish. So she goes over pretty much everything that you would need when you're self-publishing. She goes over things you'll need before you self-publish. So obviously this is not a writing how-to. So this book is for you to use after you've written the book already. After it's already ready to be published. So you've already written it, you've revised it, you've gone through beta readers, you've edited it, you've proofread it, all that good stuff. And then she kind of goes over the other elements you need other than the book, like other than the physical book, like the manuscript. Other than the manuscript, you'll need like cover design, sales description, keywords, categories, and things like that. Formatting the book, things like that. So, like I said, part one, basically a step-by-step guide of how to set up self-publishing your book. So getting a cover designer, or she doesn't really recommend DIYing it unless you're a cover designer, unless you're a graphic designer. So getting a book designer, and then how to upload that file how to format your book, how to upload the manuscript once it's been formatted, how to choose your keywords and your categories in Amazon, and then the second part of the book. Oh, and she also goes over like the pricing and stuff, like how to price your book, where to price your book, depending on your genre and the length of your book and things like that. And then she also goes into, so she tells you how to upload a ebook, self-publish an ebook, and she also does a print version. Now I will say that it's a good step-by-step guide. So if you're someone who has never published before, so you've never gone through the process, you've no idea, all you've done is write a book and got it ready. You know, whether you're in the querying stage, like if you were originally thinking of traditionally publishing and your manuscript is as good as you could get it, and you are just thinking about possibly going the self-publishing route, this book is great. Because it does give you a step-by-step guide if you have absolutely no knowledge of how to do this. It wasn't as helpful to me as it could have been because I've already done a lot of the research that was in here. So that's the nice thing about this. I'm still glad I bought it because it's a step-by-step guide that I could use now. But it's not like anything I read in here was like light bulb went off. You know what I mean? Like I already did the research. It's just Joanna Penn basically took all of that research and put it into one nifty, convenient guide. So now when I go to publish, I could basically pull out this book and follow the step-by-step guide to make sure that I could check all my boxes as I'm publishing, which is great. Okay, so then the second part of this book, which was honestly the real reason I bought this book, what is how to market a book. That is kind of what I wanted help with. I wanted help with marketing because I already knew how to I already knew most of the steps. I wanted help with the marketing part. And unfortunately, you could see, well, maybe you could see, that the marketing part is the smallest part of the smaller part of the book. There's not a whole lot in here. It's not very much of the total length is committed to marketing. And again, it was kind of the same thing where it went over all the different kinds of marketing you could do. So it goes over like all of the basics. It goes over the different kinds of marketing. It tells you what marketing is and is not. It talks about owning your website and your email list. It talks about the keywords and the categories being part of your marketing strategy. And it also talks about paid advertising versus organic advertising. It gives you a section on how to get book reviews, why book reviews are important. Like I said, it goes over basically. It goes over all of the basics. It gives you a really basic guide of how to market a book. And that's handy if you're a complete beginner. Like I said, if you're a person that is just starting to think about possibly self-publishing, this book is perfect for you because it will give you an introduction to everything you need to know about self-publishing. That being said, the problem is if you're not a beginner and you're looking for something that's more detailed and more in-depth in a certain area of self-publishing, like marketing, or like maybe a specific kind of marketing. Are you thinking about Facebook as your marketing, or are you thinking about Amazon ads? Are you thinking about your email list? If you want something that really goes into detail into one specific area, then this is not the book you want. then you want to look for a book that actually is about that one specific thing. Like, I know there's books all over the place of like Facebook ads and Amazon ads and email marketing and like all that stuff. This really just gives you the basics, and that is it. That is all it really gives you. So overall, my thoughts are, as a rating, I'm giving this a 4 out of 5, and that's just because it wasn't as helpful to me as I thought it would be. But I still like the fact that I have this book to use in the future as my step-by-step checklist. I can almost use this as my checklist as I'm publishing and setting up marketing plans and things like that. So that I find it really helpful for. But the problem is, if you're not a complete beginner, or you're looking for something that's more detailed and goes into more depth into one specific area, then this doesn't really give you that kind of information. It doesn't really give you a specific plan to implement for your specific book, because it's an overview. So you almost have to read this and then try and come up with your own plan on your own, deciding what you want to use, what you don't want to use. So like I said, it's a great introduction if you're a complete beginner. If you're not a complete beginner, then I would say probably look elsewhere if you're looking for a specific area of writing advice. So yeah, like I said, I'm giving that 4 out of 5 stars. It's great for beginners, but if you're not a complete beginner, not as great, unless you like what I like about it, which is I have a physical book now that has that little checklist in it. So those are my overall thoughts and my reviews. Because this is a nonfiction, I really didn't know how to like break it down, and like I know with a lot of fiction books you can like break it down into like character development and storyline and pacing and like all that stuff. It's a nonfiction book, so I can't rate it that way. All I can kind of do is go over what's in the book, what she covers, what she doesn't cover, and who I think this would help and who I don't think it would help as much. So those are my thoughts on the overall book of the overall book. Don't forget to hit that like button and the subscribe button if you like this video and want to see more book reviews like this, where I have another one coming up on. It'll be a couple weeks, but it's another self-publishing writing guide, but I have it on my Kindle instead of in paperback, because that book, which I want to say is Self-Publishing Success. I know it's like almost the same exact title, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is. That one was a bundle, so it actually had 4 books in one for one price, which is why I didn't buy the paperbacks, because then I would have had, I think the price for the paperbacks was like $20 or something because of it being a bundle box. So I just picked up the Kindle version of that. That'll be the next book review I'm doing. That's nonfiction. So like I said, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe button and the little bell if you want to make sure that you know when that next nonfiction writing book review goes up. Okay guys, that'll be it for me for today, and I will see all of you in my next video. Okay, bye!